Prometheus betrayed the gods to give humanity the tools to escape the hierarchies of the pantheon. In that spirit, so too must humanity betray the hierarchies of their own kind through stilling the flame once again. An anarchist Prometheanism is based on spreading the flames of invention, innovation, creativity, and the autonomy these provide through the dismantlement of domination, coercion, and hierarchy. This allows the fires to be free to burn as bright as 1,000,000,000,000 suns as they are fueled by endless complexities. This makes the heat source boundless as it melts away all barriers as the torch is passed onwards to the rest of life on Earth and the universe. So all can experience comfort, choice, prosperity, self-determination, and defense. An anarchist Promethean betrays the rigidity imposed by deities, humans, and any force that limits new possibilities for free association, abolishing anthropocentrism by destroying its monopoly on agency, igniting the world into multiplicity, wherein anyone can switch from domestic to feral in an instant. Our futurism is endless and participatory in its acceleration of this plurality, creating many futures for people to choose from, not a return or neo-return to some omnipresent wild or maintenance of the all-pervasive roads of today, but instead becoming nomadic homebodies exploring techno-forests and recliners. We incorporate Total Liberation's commitment to animal and earth liberation, but instead of the usual green anarchist lens, we synthesize transhumanism into it as well. This expands the humanism part of transhumanism to all life forms and advocates for the advancement of their freedoms as well. Instead of simply transhuman, we are also trans-species and most of all trans beings. Trans-beingism advocates for the advancement of all beings through the expansion of options and transforming their essence, making us not only post-human but also post-being as well. The term Promethean has bounced around long before these words were written. Its origin is in the famous myth. The oldest date that we know of reaches back to the 8th century BC. Many variations of the fable permeate, but the essence of the story is what's important here. The act of thievery to counter authority so those who are subordinated by it can attain the means to overthrow and abolish that subordination. The act of stealing materials from tyrants and their foot soldiers, and handing them over to the oppressed, can level the playing field or even turn the tides completely. Stealing bread and water to give to the starving can replenish not only stomachs but minds as well. When this act is extended to stealing seeds, plows, and other farming equipment, it can mean multiplying that replenishment. What is this replenishment? It's energy and potential. The energy to go on, which is an extension of movement and thought, otherwise would have been lost if not for that food, water, and other materials. The potential to use that extension of movement and thought to provide others with the means to go on, so they can find their own potential to help others go on too. This introduces a set of relations, motivations, cooperations, and individuations that, when harnessed and unleashed, produce new paths that put stress on concentrated power. This transfer of materials is building an alternate route under, over, and around the usual relations that the tyrants want you to go through. Even if just temporary, you're still facilitated and created an exchange of relations that brought a hint of something extra into the world. For a millisecond, maybe a full second, maybe possibly a minute, the actions available to someone were outside the grasp of domination. This is how we feed the flame of liberation. In a way, Prometheus gave rise to the Robin Hoods, pirates, and hackers of the world, those who were desperate but courageous, the aimless but curious, the social outcasts but community heroes, and the futurists, but ever-present fighters. Build and spread something a little extra that teaches the world to the limits of what is and isn't our lives, and that our world is boundless when we extend ourselves and our freedoms with us to the furthest reaches of space and time. We are utopians because settling for less means giving up on everything. Anarcho-Prometheans strive to see everyone become their own starship, to travel the frontiers of space unchained by nations, capital, speciesism, planetism, and any other body which seeks to ground humanity in consciousness, to boldly queer the limits. The free production of space travel, virtual reality, and cognitive awareness is a must to escape the bonds of the Earth, Sun, and evolutionary biology. Humanity will then be transformed in this infinite shuffle of existences that there will no longer be a mankind, but an odd kind, hand in hand and fin in paw and stone and all. Cyborg thems hanging out with tardigrade gays. Cyborg cat girls were only the beginning of the odd mixing, when we start to see living stone dogs and sponge foxes jump out from the horizon. The weirdest, strangest, and freakiest of beings. All of them so mixed and matched that it would make the minds of any so-called pure-blooded white man explode upon the sight of it all. We're talking about the kind of limit-defying antics that would see the Earth itself free to move from its orbit, and an odd kind free to make their own suns or become them. No star waits for a worker state to burn through the night sky, and neither should anyone else. Our anarchy must be faster than light to flee the darkness from behind.